So I'm going to take this tree out of the crate, put it back into its position before. So the position was before more or less like that. I don't want to tear the roots too much, so we're going to do this very gentle and careful. So as you can see, I just took it out of the pot and put it into this position, into this container. So now a little bit of the difficult part is we need to reduce the root ball, and then we need to get the lifevein, or split the lifevein from the deadwood. But first I need to find the point where that's going to start. So with it, as you can see here, are already some big roots. So probably what I can do and will do is saw this piece of deadwood here, and then with a cutter I will make the lifevein a little bit more visible around here, or split it from the deadwood like this, and then try to maybe hollow it, the lifevein a little bit more out, and bend it into the right direction. This is quite a surgery, so I will try to do this as careful as possible. So we have took out this incredible sabina out of the pot. What I will be doing now is I'm going to saw the deadwood in a little bit, and this will be a piece where Bikoka will work on to make it more beautiful, and to, how do I have to say it, to create taper into this piece of deadwood. because it will stick a little bit out, maybe out of the pot. I need to be careful that I will not hit the lifevein, so I have to do it piece by piece very carefully. Okay, now we're in the last part more or less, so now I have to be really careful. Okay, a little bit more. And we are there. So now we have sawed it in half. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to split the lifevein from that part of deadwood. Also here I have to look very closely, and maybe it's easier to do with a chisel. I need to check. Okay, here we go. Okay. Very carefully we're going to split it without hurting the lifevein. See what I'm doing? Look, this is the lifevein. Here's the deadwood split. And I will do it until more or less here, so I can bend this part over there. And more or less the last part was here. Okay, so now I need to find more or less of a wooden tool so I can make it open a little bit, and so I can apply raffia into it. As you can see, they're divided quite nicely from each other. Now, there's still a piece inside that I need to remove because it's still stuck to the deadwood. So let me check how I... Okay, now that's solved. Then it's important to apply raffia and maybe to hollow this vein a little bit out more, because this is still not easy to bend. So samples of it. This is quite severe work, so I cannot explain too much because I need to be very careful. So okay, now I need to hollow this part out. So now we will take this power tool, but we have to be very careful because it chips a lot of wood from an instant. We need to just hollow the lifevein a little bit out, so be careful. once in a while, check what's happening, how thick or how thin it is, because once you've gone too far, it will be not very good. So, okay, I'm going to do this. This part a little bit. That direction. Here we're going to take some parts out as well, because otherwise it will go into this. Or maybe we can try to remove this part. So we need to check that. Here is a lifevein a little bit loose, but we can attach it together, so that's not a big problem. And we have to put raffia around here, so I'm going to check. It's nice and hollow now, so this will work. So now we're going to take the raffia. What's very important when we apply a raffia is that we have to secure it very tightly and safely. So. Also important is that you apply it tightly, like I said, but also that you're going to bend it in the direction that you're going to bend the lifevein. And try to secure this as far as possible and as hard as possible, because this is very important, that the lifevein will not snap and it will be protected in the raffia. try to let the raffia overlap so we will have no holes. And needs to be as wide as possible, so like this. So now we're going to tie this up. Like this. And then I can go back to this side. And we will make a knot. And another one. And that's quite clean, so that looks quite good. Now I'm going to check this is a little bit touching this part, so this. Okay, that should be possible. So the surface roots are here more or less, and I want to have the roots here and this part of the trunk more or less bended or lifted over like that, because this was pretty straight. Now we're going to slowly but steady bend this part to there, but here's still a piece touching that piece of deadwood, so I need to check what's possible. Maybe I can saw a little part extra out of it. That's maybe the best. Oh. see, as you can see here, this part is still touching when I want to remove. So if I'm going to saw a small piece out of it, then that problem is solved. Almost. I need to be very careful that I don't touch the live vein. So, okay, nice. So what I'm going to do is I want to bend this a little bit more like that. So I'm going to put a screw here and a screw there, and I'm going to put a guy wire so I can compress it from this side to that side, you know. So I hope that will work, but then we need to find out a solution to do this more or less. So we have separated the vein from the deadwood over here, so to create the root ball over there. It has a pretty big root ball. We have used this iron bar to put pressure. It was quite a difficult task. Sometimes you need to check how and what, but if you can see, you have this part that comes from the soil, beautiful movement into here. We can still decide what our front will be, because this part can be quite nice with this movement and over here, or we can have it more or less around this part as well. If you can see, that's really amazing. So okay, so the nice work is done. This we used as a rebar, because if it's easier to bend from here than if your piece is a little bit smaller. Okay, so now we're going to make this part short with this iron saw, and then we're going to put this tree in its new position. Oops. So we have bent it quite severely now, as you can see. The straight part here is going to be twisted and turn it to this way. So I was now thinking about having this more or less as the front. So what we need to do is we need to check what best position is to get in the pot. So I'm going to comb this out because it's quite in a really big pot, and we will check what's possible. This one is already in complete in akadama and pumice, completely throughout the core of the tree, or the core of the tree. And now it's important that we can cut it back a little bit so we can reduce the root mass so that it's in balance with the foliage of the tree. I have to be careful with my foliage and my branches a little bit. Okay. My goal is to already have this tree in the position as I want it in the pot, and already in a pot as small as possible for now. So as you can see, it made a lot of beautiful root balls, roots, feeder roots, and this is quite important as well. So there's also some weeds in it. We need to remove these as well. what's very important is we need to have it into this position, you know? So what we need to do is we need to remove the part down here a little bit so that it can fit in a flat as possible pot. So that's very important. As you can see, we have a lot of feeder roots, so the tree is very healthy. So after this repotting, the tree will just grow. I will keep it in a greenhouse to keep it into a very nice climate. Now it's ideal time for repotting juniper, so that's very good. Let's check how much we have left. Still quite a bit. I also don't want to remove too much, so this also still could be a very beautiful front, as you can see. Maybe one day we will see. Bonsai is step by step, one day at a time, so. I think this is for the moment enough because we already bent it quite a lot and I don't want to do too much to the tree. So let me check if it will fit in the spot that we found for it. I think this It's not a bad start if you can look at this right now. Check this out, really impressive, amazing.
Just wow.
What?
Just wow.
Just one. I'm quite happy with this result for so far. Okay, super. So what I'm going to do now is, I already cut the roots. I'm going to put some substrate inside of the pot, and we're going to fill that up. Maybe here and there I'm going to remove a little bit more because it fits very good, but there's some spots still. Okay. So we're finished with a very heavy repotting. So it was quite finding out how we wanted to do this plan. I already had an idea, but sometimes it doesn't work how you think it will work. But with a rebar we could bend this one more to this side so that the root ball will be here, and that we could have bent this part here, because normally the root ball will be over there. So we have contracted it like this way, and this looks quite nice. So we still have a little hump over there with some minor roots. We're going to put some sphagnum moss on top of there that these roots will stay moist, and in time we can remove it slowly and steady. So what I've tried to do is I'm trying to touch not too much of the root system, because the bend is also quite heavy and severely. It's not a risk because we didn't do too much to the living vein, not even that. So this one I grafted 2 years ago or 3 years ago with Manuel Yama. The grafts are starting to grow quite nicely. So my plan is, now it's repotted and bent, we're going to keep this one in the greenhouse so that it will be very humid over there. This part will become stronger and stronger over time, because when you do a bend like that, the veins starting to get stimulated, and they're bended. So in a time they will stay in that position, and then the tree will not wobble that much anymore, because the roots are very tight over here, but here it's a little bit wobbly because of this insertion, or how do I need to call it in English? I don't know the correct word for it. As you can see, in future we need to plant it a little bit deeper, but I didn't want to reduce any more roots from beneath. So in future we will do that, and maybe in future we will bend this part even a little bit more there, so that the tree is not coming that much to the front side, but that the root ball will be more or less here. This we will do over time, maybe already in September when the tree has grown very well. So now the tree can rest, and after some time in June when it started to grow very well, I can take a little bit more of the sabina foliage, so all the energy will go to these itoigawa grafts. Here's one root that is a little bit, one graft that is a little bit weaker because that one didn't get a lot of sunlight. It's over here. It's hanging at the soil surface, so what I'm going to do is with a wire I'm going to try to get this branch more up, so this branch will not get any more weaker and that it will get enough sunlight. We can just do it with a guy wire. So you can see this as well. Now it's not hanging at soil surface, so it will get air and light, and then it's better for the branch to grow. If you can see here, we have a nice graft over here. I need to be a little bit careful with this one. Because so like that it gets okay, no problem. That one is inverted. Quite nice. Okay, great, awesome. So that we have this one, a graft over here, graft over here, graft over here, graft over here, and graft over here. So that's quite nice. So in future, our front will be more or less like this maybe, or more or less like this. Then we can see this movement as well. So thank you for watching our heavy repotting. I hope I see you guys until the next time.